Welcome to the regular Freeholder meeting held on Wednesday, August 8, 2018 at 7:05 p.m. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Here.
Freeholder Patillo. Freeholder Director Rose.
Present.
Freeholder Yardley.
Here. Can I have a moment of silence and salute to the flag, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice is defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975 has been made by regular mail. Such notice being submitted on June 13, 2018 from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNJ Radio. It is also posted on the bulletin board maintained by the Administrative Center for public announcements, and it has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion. If the freeholders so desire, please entertain a motion to remove items 10S, 10T, 10U, 10W, 10Z, 15C, 15D, and 15E from the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Yardley. Second by Patillo. Discussion. Mr. Pop,
Yes, the items that have been moved to be removed from the agenda include 3 resolutions concerning a road improvement project with the Borough of Hopatcong. We have not received the executed documents from the borough as of today, and so it would be appropriate that those be considered upon the county's receipt of those executed documents. W, concerning the Municipal Utilities Authority, there is still ongoing conversation between the engineers and attorneys as to the form that agreement will take. Z, I was advised late this afternoon that we do not have all of the procurement documentation necessary in order to execute the agreement with Mr. Ambrosio. And then the last 3 items are the bond ordinance amendments concerning Chapter 12 funding for the college.
and those Chapter 12 funding, we are in in collaboration with the college, we are in the process of trying to set up 4-party talks, and that hopefully will happen in the next 6 weeks. And I think we have verbal buy-in from all the parties, and so we'll be holding these until after that meeting has concluded. Any further discussion from the field of the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Can I have a motion to modify the first public session to allow all comments, not just those on agenda items? Motion by Patillo, second by Graham. I'm requesting this because since we've removed the items related to the college, they would technically have to, the public would technically have to wait until the end to make comments regarding that. With this motion, the Freeholder board can open it up to anyone for comments that I'm sure a lot of people are here for the college and may want to voice their opinion. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any further comments about the agenda as amended? All those in favor? Now you are voting to approve the agenda as amended.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The agenda is approved as amended. Proclamation, certificate of recognition to Doug Mall for the 2018 rodeo winner. Certificate of recognition for senior year, and proclamation recognizing Eagle Scout Court of Honor John Patrick Ryan. Have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by second by Patillo. Motion. Any discussion? Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Presentation by Jackie Espinosa. Second.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. Boy, I wish this crowd was for me.
They are.
I'm glad they're here because it's some good information that I'm going to share tonight. I'm Jackie Espinosa. I'm an area manager for Jersey Central Power and Light. And I'm here tonight to talk about this Reliability Plus program. It's an infrastructure investment plan that we filed with the BPU in July. And what's so great about it is that it targets the distribution system. Did you hear that, Carl?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I think Carl has been asking for this since the moment I met him in, I think it was in 2013 or 2014 that I met you. So,
10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like forever.
all good stuff. So this is a little map, an outline of our territory. We're in North Jersey and also Central Jersey. We serve 1.1 million customers in New Jersey. We're a First Energy company. So we operate in 5 different states. We have 10 operating companies. We have a lot of employees, a lot of retirees in Sussex County. We do a lot of business here in New Jersey. So up top, you see where it says Newton. That means that's what's served out of our Newton Line Shop, which is located down the road on Route 206 there. So the Newton Line Shop, the district primarily covers Sussex County, a little bit of Warren County, then our Dover district covers Hopatcong and Stanhope. And we have an awesome group of people working at the Newton Line Shop. I always give them kudos because they're out there working really hard. They have a really good line shop manager managing the group there. Very tight-knit group, very diverse too. We have a lot of graduates from our Power Systems Institute, that program I told you guys about. So we have the younger guys in there and then the more experienced linemen all working together, which is great. So this plan, like I said, is targeted at improving the distribution system, the infrastructure. So what that means to you is less power outages on normal blue sky days, and also when we get that severe weather like we had in March when Storm Riley and Quinn came through, and then we got hit with Toby, not so much up in Sussex County, but we got hit with Riley and Quinn. So this program, it's $400 million that we want to spend in the next 4 years. We want to start it in January of 2019. And it's above and beyond the normal distribution maintenance work that we would be doing. And like I said, it's just targeted on that. Blue sky days, severe weather. So after those March storms, what happened was, like, what are we going to do to prevent this, to minimize? So we got together our engineers and different employees in the company, along with an outside contractor, and really took a deep dive into those outages that we experienced in March. And they came up with a plan, and I'm very impressed with the plan that they came up with. So a lot of enhancements, a lot of work going to be done in Sussex County, and once it's all approved, I can sit down with you guys and kind of go over what's going to be done, how it will impact Sussex County in a positive way. Of course, we have a lot of trees up here in Sussex County. We are targeting the ash trees. Okay, there is an insect that is infecting the ash trees. It's already in New Jersey. It's called the emerald ash borer. So these trees will be coming down in the next few years. So we'd rather target them now before they do come down and cause a power outage or what have you. So it's really on safety. So we're targeting them now. You've seen them in your town already. And we're also looking to do enhanced vegetation along the distribution system. So we cut our circuit down into 3 different zones. So we're trying to do more work in zone 2 and 3. That's what we'd like to do there. The overhead circuit reliability, besides the tree trimming, installing advanced equipment. There's something out there called a trip saver. We don't have this on our system now, but we want to put some of these on the system. It will detect if there was a fault on the line. So here, beautiful day today. The squirrels, the chipmunks, they love our transformers. They love to get on top of there. If they make contact, boom, they're on the ground, but you have a power outage. So this trip saver, it's this fuse, will detect there was a fault on the line. And then it'll see if the fault cleared, and you won't have an outage. You may have a momentary. So maybe your lights are going to blink, or it's going to be quick, it'll come back on. So we won't have to call the lineman out there to patrol the line, find the squirrel on the ground, or find the tree branch that fell on the ground, and you'll have your power. So I'm really excited about the trip saver. We went down to Florida Power and Light to help them when they had the hurricane come through. They have a lot of trip savers on the line. So the linemen were like, wow, what is this? You know, we talked to them about it, and we're sold on it, and we want to implement those on the system. Substations, a lot of flood mitigation. Jonathan, we worked on the Sussex Borough substation, so we're going to be doing things like that in other substations, but primarily up here in Sussex, we're in good shape with that. But we're going to do improved fencing around some of the substations. It's an animal deterrent. A lot of times raccoons get in there and they can cause some problems. So we're looking at that, and also security as well, enhanced security. Also, around the substations, we're looking to put more SCADA controls. We're at our control center in Morristown. They do have availability to control the power from Morristown. We want to put more pieces of equipment out there so that they have more flexibility and can do that, which is really good. What else here? Yeah, we're talking about the new technologies. So this way we can isolate the outages quicker. So maybe it's affecting 500, quickly we can reduce it, so maybe it's only affecting 200. And then, it's all out of automation. But in a recap, it's all about the everyday outages. When severe weather comes through, it's about minimizing that. It's all about building the distribution system, making it stronger, which is so important for all of us as customers. We want to start it in January of 2019. It is capital work, so it does mean a rate increase for all of us. So for the average home, who uses about 700 kilowatt hours a month, it's going to be a quarter in the first 6 months. You'll see an increase of a quarter in your monthly bill. I'm okay with that. And then over the 4 years, the most it will go up is $1.89. I'm like, for all that we're going to benefit, it's okay. So we do have to go, well, the BPU will have to have public hearings whenever there's a rate case with the utility. So why I'm here today is I'm asking for support from the freeholders to say, okay, we get it, we understand what you're doing, we support you on this. I've been here before regarding transmission projects. This project is about the outages on the distribution system. So, and I'm asking for support maybe with like a resolution. I do have a draft that I can submit if you wanted to look at it and consider it. I would really, truly appreciate that. I'm also going out to the towns and asking for support. I've been meeting with mayors and council and some of the law enforcement too, and telling them what our plan was, what to do. You guys have any questions?
How long does the increase stay on the bill?
Well, that'll be throughout. It'll be $1.89.
I don't know what does throughout mean, forever?
Forever? You know what? That's a good question.
Because
I will find out
if
if
it's
it's
gonna
just for
fund
the
that
4
project,
years.
then does it stay
Does it
on
stop?
there and or does it stop? Does it have a beginning and an end?
I will find out and I will call you
I
tomorrow.
won't be patiently waiting.
You will, I know. You'll answer my
It's
call.
amazing because Carl is impatiently waiting for anything.
That's true.
What about mobilization? I know that the mobilization in March was less than stellar. What's improving?
Thank you for bringing that up. Because we're going to have, I didn't tell them beforehand, so I wanted to talk about this. We're going to have contractors doing this work. So what that means is we're going to have contractors on the property. So when that weather comes through, we're not waiting for the mutual agreements to come through, the other utilities to help us, like how we sent one down to Florida Power and Light. We have other utilities, we have agreements. We're in the Mid-Atlantic group. So we'll have contractors right here on our property who can assist. So because of the onset of those storms, like what we had in March, it took a few days before the outside contract, the mutual assistance came through.
Yes, Herb was using matches to read books by.
Well, I was, and just to let you know, I just spent a small fortune on putting a whole system in.
Now
so
you
I
know
can-
you won't have any more power outages because you just got a generator.
So I want everyone to know that I spent the money, so my wife,
And that's
she
why.
told me no more lines running into the house. We could plug it in. We will now have no more outages.
Yes, so actually we don't need this plan because you got the generator. But thank you for bringing that up because when the storm comes through right away, we're working with the guys we have on a regular day. You have to wait for mutual assistance to come in. Once they come in, the fairgrounds was fantastic. What a nice setup you had there. That worked really nice to stage that many trucks it was perfect, and it just worked like clockwork. But they weren't going to release their crews until they knew that storm was out of their territory. So there was a delay on that. So that'll give us access to contractors right away. So that's really good. Thank you that's a good question. Thank you.
Jackie, since we have a crowd here, can you talk about the necessity of calling in your power outages?
Yeah, very important. Actually, I'll ask you a question. Show of hands, who reports their power outage when they're out of power? Okay, I don't think it was half, because you all think, we must know, right? We know. They know. I don't want to bother them. I'm not going to call. Well, we don't know. Okay, we know if it's part of a larger outage, if something, at the substation, or maybe it affected the entire circuit. But if something happened in your neighborhood, it's affecting just your neighbors, we don't know until you call us. So it's very important to call in your power outage. You can link your cell phone to your account. You don't even have to call us. You can text us if you want. My kids called in March, like, we lost power. So I just texted them because I have my cell phone linked to my account. I just text out. And then they communicate to me by text. Oh, we're aware of your power outage. Okay, the truck is en route. You get that kind of information. So we have an app too, a free app. You can look at the power outages on your phone. So it's, JCP&L, little app, click on outages. There's a triangle. That means there's an outage in your area. And then it'll say if the truck's en route, if it arrived, the estimated time of restoration. So, thank you, John.
Sure. Now, with respect to that, I spoke with John, your area, your area vice president, I guess is his title, some time ago during the BPU hearings about smart meters. Have you made any?
Smart meters is not in this.
Have you looked at doing that or some subset of that so that you can get information back from the grid without?
Yep. New Jersey's not there yet.
Okay. Do you have a time frame, or do you have a thing when you're looking at it, or?
I believe that Board of Public Utilities has looked, but.
And what's the issue? They're not approving the rate increase required to do that, or where's the
I
hold up?
think there's a few things, looking at the whole smart meter itself, the cost of it, if it's, what value is placed on it for the consumer.
Right. For the public's edification, what I'm talking about is JCP&L only knows about your outages because you call in, and there's an algorithm that they use. So if 10 people on the same circuit branch call in, then they assume the circuit's down. But smart meters would give bidirectional communication back to JCP&L and say, I'm out. And that would give them a lot more insight into what's going on in their grid. And so it's been an ongoing topic of discussion as to whether it's a good idea and the costs involved in doing smart meters. So.
Yeah, we can't just go ahead and put it in, it has to be approved.
Well, and there's a cost associated with it as well.
Yes, exactly.
Any other questions?
Yes. Is there some sort of document that we can see on the program? In other words, nice presentation, but you talked about the rates and stuff. Is there anything that talks about those rates so that we could see? You're asking us to endorse something based on the presentation. Is there a written document on what you're going to do? And I'm not talking about a contract, but something that says...
All of the projects that we're proposing to do for Sussex County?
Well, I'd like to, that's a good idea, to know what they are.
Yes,
all right, but you're talking about, was it $1.98? Was it
$1.89.
$1.89. Right, and I think Carl made a good point where he said, how long will that be? So I'd like to understand why we're putting that in there, how long that will be. Is there a document we can read, or?
I can look into that and see if there is a document to read. I wasn't provided a document. I was just told for 6 months it's going to be a quarter for the average bill. And then the next 6 months it may go from another quarter. So it's like on 6 month increments.
I'm going to assume they gave something to
The Board of Public Utilities.
a narrative of that.
Oh, I can show you.
Yeah, just a narrative of that would be. Thank you.
I'll do that.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mama says life is like a box of chocolates.
Oh!
Nice job.
Thank you, Carl.
We have no public hearings. Public session from the floor. Please note, everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less. followed by a 3-minute response time from the Freeholder Board. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet. Do I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
So moved.
Motion by Lazar. Second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public. When you come up, if you would, please speak into the microphone. Please fill out your name and town on the sign-in sheet at the podium. And normally, at this point, we would only take comments regarding items on the agenda, but we've removed several items, and the Freeholder Board opened this up for any comments. So any comments you have on any topic.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Apollo. I'm the president of Newton and Hackettstown Medical Centers. I'm a resident of Sparta. And there's quite a few people want to say a few things, so I just wanted to voice my support of the expansion of the college, and to just kind of encapsulate it. It's one of those things where, you know, I think since the beginning of the court of time, every generation knows that the world is changing and it gets more complicated and more complex, and that's certainly no different now. And from my perspective and where we see the college going, there's more and more demand for highly technical fields. The hospital, Newton Hospital, we employ about 1,200 people. About half of those people are nurses and doctors. The other half are technical people. And from any type of technical role, whether it's pharmacy technicians, lab technicians, physical therapists, all these types of jobs need technical skills. And so right now, a majority of my staff goes to County College of Morris or someplace else in order to get that training. And while we share programs at the college, we think that an expansion of that would be even better for the community. The hospital's pledged money for the expansion project, as many others have as well, because we really believe that ultimately it's for the benefit of the community, as well as for the college and the hospitals and all the residents of Sussex County. So I'm very much in support of it, and that's all I really wanted to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
I'm not here for or against the project. I'm here to speak about the process of the project.
Who are you?
I'm Richard Kelsky.
Can you please sign in? Thank you.
I don't think that microphone does.
Sorry, we have to get our minutes accurate. It's difficult to do.
I know who you are, Rich.
I know. Sorry about the coughing, it's been a little bit today. I'm not here for or against the project. I'm here because of the process we're undergoing. And it has to do with, do we have enough information to decide on this project, to decide to fund this project? When I first started reading about the project, I thought it was a failed solar project right away when I started seeing the numbers. And how much we were told it was wonderful and great, and there were people speaking about it, and we were told it was going to be free. Well, we all know what free meant in that case. In this case, we're dealing with a property that's been empty for more than 5 years, has environmental issues. We're dealing with a college that at the operations line, which nobody wants to look at, lost $5.3 million last year. And it only gets even through state and county funding. Typically $4 million from the county on an annual basis. I wrote a letter to the NJ Herald. I met with Mr. Connolly and the CFO, Mr. Gandhi, and I requested information on the project. I figured, well, get the book. When somebody wants to spend $4.5 million of taxpayer money, they must have a pretty comprehensive book on this. Well, there wasn't a book. After 2 hours of meeting with these gentlemen, they the president hand-wrote the capital budget of this project. I have a copy of that right here. This is what I got. If you take a look at it, and I have copies for you if you'd like it, this is not what we base decisions to fund, 4.5 or 5.5 or 6.5. I think the number is going to be much higher over time. But we don't base our decisions on this. We wouldn't base our home decisions on this, much less the college's decisions. As far as the expenses and revenue side, they have projections, which were, as far as I was concerned, were really unsupportable. There were courses listed in the projections for revenue, which aren't even going to be available in the fall, but they were projected in the fall. They projected maintenance at $30,000 a year for 22,000 square feet, I think, of space and property. I don't know where it came from, but I'm very concerned that those expenses are going to turn into capital expenditures under Chapter 12 funds in the future, because the budget that's being given to us is not adequate really to do what needs to be done in this premises. The other thing that's going on is we're being told, well, we could build a building, but it's going to cost a lot more money. That's per square foot. Would you build a facility this big? No, but that's not really the issue. The issue here is, what's the alternative? The alternative is to rent a facility, pilot the project, and not spend $4.5 million of taxpayer money that we, as the citizens of this, the taxpayers of this community, will have to fund. We'll have to service, I think it's 23 years is the typical time on those bonds. We'll have to fund it. The other thing that's concerning me is this lease of the premises before there is remediation. I was told at the meeting I attended with the president, there was a lease and they were still negotiating the contract to purchase. According to the board chair in the newspaper, there's already a lease to purchase agreement, which that was not what I was told, so I would suggest that you look into that. But in any event, I did speak with a very prominent commercial leasing attorney who told me to be very, very cautious when you're leasing a property or entering a property before the remediation is completed. It's very, very risky. In this case, the risk is doubled or multiplied by the fact that they will be engaging in the very same industry which the building encountered its pollution from. So there will be no way, if they spill a 55-gallon drum of oil or they turn on a hydraulic lift and it leaks into the ground, whose fault was it? Will it be the college's fault, or will it be the landlord's fault? The next question is, what is the viability of the entity which is doing the remediation? If this remediation runs to be $2 million, does that entity have $2 million? Do we know anything about the creditworthiness of that entity that holds the real estate? I'm not talking about the general company itself. It has a big name in this county, but not necessarily in holding the real estate. I originally came here to ask you, no, to beg you not to put this on the agenda tonight. You've already taken it off the agenda. So I'm going to say to you simply, ask for the book. And that book needs to contain a detailed financial analysis with professional cost estimates, not back-of-the-envelope estimates for $4.5 million. If you don't, the county will end up paying in the future. Going forward could mean extra years of Chapter 12 funds for the project, annual appropriations for operating losses, which the college never wants to talk about, that they want an operating loss.
So we just have 1 minute left.
That's okay with me. But I would say, don't be fooled by pretty little pieces of paper like this, because they're not what a board makes a fiduciary decision on. You have to get paperwork that supports the project. It's a colorful handout, and without supporting documentation mean nothing to me. No use of funds of this county should be considered or approved without complete supporting factual information, professionally prepared estimates, and financial analysis, which at the moment do not exist. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public?
My name is Kevin Shaw. I'm a resident of Newton. I'm a business owner of Newton. I raised my family in Newton. I think the previous speaker brings up some valid points. I think clearly everybody has interest in this being something that's fiscally prudent. I think the diligence should be done, and I think everybody's probably in favor of that. But I think there's a bigger picture here. When we're talking about $4.5 million, $6.5 million, I frequently speak with individuals, parents, that send their children off to schools that end up coming home. $100,000, 3 years into it. They're sitting at home without a degree and in debt. We're sending them out of county. I'll tell you the cost of sending them out of county is tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to this community. That leaves this community. We have individuals that are passed on to academia that shouldn't actually be passed on to academia. They should be We have locally vocational school, which some will say that, well, that should qualify them. It's not a college certificate. There's clearly value in further education. There's clearly value in learning more skills. I hear from individuals, trade owners, that have students come out of vocational that clearly have no skills in welding, that they're reluctant to hire. These are real concerns. I think the trades need support. I think the vision of culinary in this farm basin that we have is somewhat inspiring. I'm a health practitioner, and I think a vision of seeing food and people on the square. I'll bring your attention, there are 3 major vacancies on the square right now. We have Dell Building, the Old Records, vacant. 1.64 million for 1 year, no interest. We have Newton Trust, or Lakeland, may have left, but they're leaving. They may be already gone. And we have McGuire vacant for 5 years. I live blocks from the square. I maintain my property. I own many properties in Newton, and I pay significant taxes. I am concerned about the tax liability, but it pales in comparison, quite honestly, to the future prosperity of this town. We really have to think about our students. We have to think about the youth. My son, both of them, will attend the community college. Now, I've done secondary and tertiary education. I hold a doctorate, and I understand the value of education. I understand the value of education cost effectively. I think we've been misled a little bit to say that our students need to leave this county to get an education. Many of them are qualified to stay here, and frequently we're pulling them from outside of this county because we can't fit. We don't have enough of these skilled laborers to stay within our county. I share the vision of seeing some youth in the center of Square. I share the vision of seeing moving an element out of the town that is not contributing to the town. I see the vision of lifting the town, and this has that potential. There is a decline going on. You may be aware that another business has left Spring Street. When does it stop? I've been here 20 years. 20 years. I think about leaving, but I won't. You know, I'm here because I think the forefathers of this town had a lot of pride, and they didn't send their children outside of the county to learn. These are about values that are traditional. These are about bringing about skills that need to be valued and respected also. I'd like to learn welding. I'm not going to vocational college to do this. And I also represent the 20-year-olds. Do you think a 20-year-old that's graduated high school has any interest in going back to a high school to learn with other high school students? Is there value of coupling their education with marketing, with entrepreneurial spirits, with accounting skills that the community college provides? I think there is. It's a higher level of education. It's about preparing entrepreneurs to move forward and stay in our community. I think the $4 million is a drop in the bucket to the potential that parents can keep in Sussex County. So maybe their children stay in Sussex County and buy dilapidated properties that can be restored at value. And actually we can resurrect. There can be a renaissance, maybe a glimmer of hope for Newton. Maybe we need to look at it that way, because I don't see it right now, but I do see it with this. And yeah, maybe it's a little risky. Maybe it needs to be diligently reviewed, but not to kill it. Let's not kill it just for the sake of, whatever the procedures are. And I'm not privy to all that. But let's do our diligence. Let's hear it out. Let's appreciate it for the potential of what it could be. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some vitality in the square. Right now, it's nothing of what it was 50 years ago. I speak to people that grew up in this community and are 80 years old. It pains them to witness what's occurring in Newton. I imagine it does each of the individuals here on the board just the same.
Sir, just 1 minute.
I appeal to you folks to, listen and learn, and this is an opportunity perhaps to, move the town in a different direction. I don't know how many students will be there, but life in the square is what's required right now. Skills in the square are what's required. And maybe it may motivate the other 2 major landmarks in town to actually move also. Because otherwise, it's a spiral right now. Thanks for your time.
I'm Paul Crowley from Franklin. Please bear with me because I have some chronic throat problems. I wanted to bring up two things. First of all, I'm here to support the county college, and I'm glad to see that you're going to be meeting with those people and address this in the future, so I'm not going to go on to that. The second thing is I'm going to bring to your attention that yesterday, August 7th, was the National Purple Heart Recognition Day. As a retired Army National Guard officer, I would hope that the Board of Freeholders, and actually everybody in this room, should make an effort to recognize the sacrifices made by the citizens of Sussex County who are Purple Heart recipients from being wounded in combat. I think this is something that most people don't realize, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Thank you, Senator Brown.
My name is John Fusselite. I'm the owner, president of Custom Furniture here in town. Business that has been developed over the last 28 years. I'm a graduate of the local Sussex County Vocational School. So I took my talents from the school and I developed a business that's grown from a one-man operation. The first year in business I did 80,000 to last year we did 6 million. I employ 35 people. I own several buildings in town. I'm here in support of this movement for the college. Kevin spoke very well about the need. I think it's less, I get, listen, I'm a businessman. I've had to look at money my whole career and figure out how to pay my bills and pay a bi-weekly payroll of $100,000. I do it. But I gotta tell you, it's more about the passion that we bring to what we do that makes a difference. And I'm passionate about this town, and I think this town is the epicenter of the county. And what Kevin said, when you come into town and you see a closed down business, you see a parking lot, I look at the image of this green space that they're gonna have here. It's fantastic. I mean, that's what I wanna see when I pull into town. Thank you very much. That's what I wanna see when I come into town. What I'm doing myself, I'm a developer here in town as well. And we're building on Main Street, right 2 houses up from the McGuire property, 81 Main, it's a 3-family building. We renovated completely. It's a beautiful space. We get high-end rent there. We also did the style shop in town here. So it's completely renovated, 10 units, fully rented to all high-end tenants. This, we're also, and actually the county space is going to be abutting another project that I'm involved in, the Bula property. Purchasing that property, we're going to develop apartments there as well. I'd like to partner with the college and the county and the town to create, more opportunities. One of the biggest problems I have as a business owner is hiring qualified people. They're just not available right now. They're all working. Right now, the world is working. Unemployment is down like crazy. So, love to partner with the college to bring people into my place as interns and learn while they're going to school. Very, very viable opportunity for these kids. So again, I have a little bit of a there's a winning place in this for me. If the school succeeds at its goals. I can't imagine there's a right now like somebody's said, property's been sitting there empty for 5 years. If there was a better use for that property, I have a feeling it would come along. So that's it. I just wanted to speak as a public landowner here in town. I don't live here in town, but I do have property here. I've had business here for, like I said, 28 years. It has had its ups and downs, and I think the town is back on the rise. I think Ford Labs supporting this should tell you something. Alice has been great. I'm riding his coattails right now, to be quite honest, but it's a good thing. There's, Spring Street's coming around. I don't feel so down about it as Kevin might, but he keeps a beautiful property there up on the corner, and I want to keep bringing that more to Spring Street and the rest of the town. There's a lot we can do, and anybody that wants to be part of that, wants to call me and contact me and partner with me, I'm all over it. As I said at one of the last meetings, I'm the boots on the ground making this stuff happen. So please, love to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Cassie Haug, and I am from Hampton, New Jersey. I'm obviously a little young. I am at this target age that this would be supporting and helping, and something like this would have been so helpful to me as a junior, senior, sophomore in high school, because I came from Kittatinny, but I joined the Newton Robotics team for the pure fact that Kittatinny did not have anything technical. We have a wood shop, and that is it when it comes to technical things. And if it weren't for this robotics team, I would not be becoming an engineer right now. And having the idea of technical work would have taught me way more for college when it becomes being an engineer. Knowing how to machine, knowing how to weld, knowing how to do those hands-on things makes a better engineer, and having a better engineer would be great for this town. And on top of the college being a part of this, it would be better for people because more people would be able to stay here for engineering. I really wish I could have stayed in Sussex County. I'm born and raised in Sussex County, and I love it here. But I couldn't go to the college for the pure fact that there's not enough technical things there. If I were to try to transfer it somewhere to be able to get my full degree and my full-fledged engineering, they would not take it. And with this new building or new area, I would be able to get that 2-year degree, have it transfer, and I would have all that background that I need, and I'd have more with the hands-on learning that you can't get really anywhere else, except if you were to go to specialized vocational school in high school. And with that being in high school, I went to go transfer into it my sophomore year. Decided I wanted to become an engineer, but they told me I couldn't do it. You can't switch into Sussex County Technical School past the end of your freshman year. They don't let it because you didn't have enough time, so you can't leave there. So having something like this would be very, very good for someone who was like in my position where they didn't know what they wanted to do. I know so many people who are in college and still know what they want to do. And this gives them that hands-on learning that can help the local community with having like he was talking about the furniture, and you have local engineers that you know where they got their information from, and they'd be able to come back to Sussex County and help out other kids.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Mark Spate. I'm a resident of Lafayette and a 10-year Sussex County resident. For 27 years, I worked as a chef. For the last 4, I've been director of culinary arts at a culinary school in Newark, New Jersey. This is my 4th year in the field of education. I spent the last year getting my certification in career and technical education. 200 hours spent this year, 200 hours next year. I've been in numerous meetings with Department of Education officials, teachers, and business leaders, all speaking to the lack of well-trained, ready-to-work graduates in the state of New Jersey. Indeed, the term crisis level has been used often to describe the situation. I'm here before you today because I believe with the passion this proposal should be passed. I believe it can only strengthen the future of Sussex County residents, not only improving their lives financially, but enriching their lives with a sense of pride, satisfaction, and direction. New Jersey businesses, big and small, have spoken to the Department of Education to report they don't have these qualified workers. They've shed light on a great need statewide and particularly countywide here in Sussex. The need for ready-to-work applicants. Indeed, parents have come forward in multiple New Jersey polls to ask that their children are not just academically prepared, but learn important skills, real-world skills, and researching career paths so they have a future to look forward to. One important topic in our teaching certification has been the fact that people learn differently. I see this every day in the high school I teach at. Traditional college with sit-down classes is not for everyone, especially in this day and age. That's why this proposal is so important. It will give its scholars a chance to experience industry and be immersed in its operations and management without having to fork over hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education. Right now, Sussex is third to last in weekly salaries, $1 away from a second place tie. Workers who know less are paid less. VOTEC cannot be the only answer when for every available seat there are 2.4 applicants. This means for every 2 students that get in, 3 are denied and they have to go elsewhere for that education. The residents of Sussex County deserve an opportunity to better their lives. Taking a negative abandoned building that can only attract undesirable people and turning it into a positive school where the community learns and grows together, it's a no-brainer. Times aren't just changing, they have changed, and Sussex County has a great chance to not only catch up, but to propel itself forward. A vote against this proposal is a vote against the future of Sussex County residents. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Zochez, and I am in favor of the Sussex County Community College expansion. And my kudos to the young lady who was up here, a couple of people before myself. She is the future of this community, and she spoke very well about her feelings about what the community has to offer her and what she feels she needed to stay in Newton and in this community. I am the owner of a business called American Architectural Windmill. I employ 80 people. Every one of those 80 people come from outside of Sussex County. I have to hire people from Bergen County, from Hudson County, at very high wages because they don't want to come this far up. So I may go through 10 people to try and find one person that wants to make the trip up to Sussex County and work for my organization. There is no labor pool up here for me to pull from. Trade schools are such a wonderful opportunity for young people to find careers that are well-paying careers, offering them tremendous opportunities, and we don't have anything like that up here right now. I have ads and papers that are running. I have basically every medium that you could think of to try and hire people, and I find nothing. I find nothing here whatsoever. It's very, very disheartening. Every day people lose their jobs to artificial intelligence. In my business, where I need mechanics, I need window installers, I need people who know how to do welding, I need carpenters, I need project managers, I need people who know how to read blueprints. Artificial intelligence doesn't do that. Artificial intelligence doesn't allow you to go out and put a window in. Tradespeople do that. Tradespeople learn those things. Some people say to me, well, why don't you hire people and train them? We can't afford to do that. We don't have the time to do that. We don't have the energy, and we've tried, only to find out that halfway down the road, people decide that this isn't really what they want. If you have the ability to pull somebody from a trade school that is there for welding, your chances of retaining that person when you hire them are much better because they're already showing an interest in that specific field. So I find it very disheartening to know that I have to go outside of my own community to find the employees that I need. I think that this opportunity to create a school to train these future tradespeople in a field that is growing, and the construction field, as we all know, is growing tremendously, offers a tremendous amount of opportunity not only to the individual students, but also to the community. So that's basically all I have to say about it, and I hope that this opportunity passes for Sussex County Community College. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Director, Madam Deputy Freeholders. My name is Michael Speckart. I live in Sparta, New Jersey. Although I'm a trustee of the college, I'm here speaking for myself, by myself, on my own behalf. 3 things I just wanted to share with you. I have over 30 years experience in the business world with a large transportation company. Back then, it took 5 days to get a box from California to New Jersey. It still takes 5 days, so what's changed? There was a need for an investment to stay relevant, and that investment was in technology and people. Drivers now have wireless mobile computers. There's no more paper. I miss paper. Vehicles are loaded with technology for fuel efficiency, for dispatch, to meet all safety regulations, and provide information that's relevant to the customer. The demand for people to keep this infrastructure working is not unique to my company. Skilled and educated employees are sought and fought over. These jobs that enable these folks to provide for their families also allows them to flourish in their communities. This need has not and will not go away anytime in the future. Second thing, last year I took a trip with my family to Savannah, Georgia. All of the tours and places we went to mentioned a not so good time in Savannah that wasn't that far back. What changed was the arrival of the Savannah College of Art Design, or SCAD, that came to the downtown area in Savannah. Trip Umbrac is a Pittsburgh-based consulting company that did an economic impact on the study of SCAD for the state of Georgia. They revealed that the impact of the arrival of SCAD and how it impacted the downtown area transformed it from a place with rundown historic district with boarded up buildings to a thriving business and tourist destination. They also stated that their acquisition, restoration, and reuse of historic buildings in Savannah had been a driving force behind Savannah's reputation as a place of architectural and cultural significance. It has also been the ignition for neighborhood improvement and redevelopment. Some of the numbers that they stated, and these are very large numbers, I'll go through them quickly. Business volume impact was $38 million. This was by spending visitors, students, and businesses. The direct and indirect employment was almost 7,000 jobs. The faculty, staff, and student volunteerism and charity, they estimated at $20 million over a period of time in 2017. And with extremely large, like a $600 million impact to the community and culture impact in the region of Georgia. Now, SECC is 1/5 the size of that. But if you can obtain a fraction of these results by following the singular roadmap, think of the possibilities of the McGuire project and what we have in the community. And third and lastly, if I could just speak about vision. We all know it's hard enough and develop and implement a vision. It's very easy for internet trolls to attack or find something wrong, whether it's real or unimaginable, just about anything without getting of the facts. What is harder than developing a vision is getting others to see and share what you envision to accomplish. The buy-in and sharing of the vision for the use of the McGuire property by SECC, by the citizens and the business community of the county, is louder than any empty words that someone may have. The tremendous volume is heard by the actions of actually investing real money into the program. The sharing of this vision and seeing the benefit to the community by donating over $500,000 to locate the program in the downtown area, this level of support is something I've never seen in my 32 years of living here in the county. The vision of the McGuire project is a tremendous opportunity to be seized and acted upon for the benefit of all the citizens of the county. All I ask is that you please support it. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Speckart?
Yep.
Can I just ask one question? You sit on the board of trustees. Have you seen a full and comprehensive cost accounting of this project? And if you have, could you provide that to the Freeholder board?
I would let this gentleman right here speak to that, okay, because he is the CEO.
But I want to, like, have you seen it personally?
Once again, the full and comprehensive, I have seen the numbers for the project and the plan, and I would defer to the CFO to explain those numbers.
So you have seen those, the full and comprehensive?
I have seen the numbers for the project that I am comfortable with to go through these discussions.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and can I just add one more thing? I know I walked away. I'm a big believer in everyone has an opinion and the right to say that opinion. However, people don't have the right to their own facts. So to make a statement earlier that the college lost $5 million after they paid all their bills and met the obligations to teach all the students is not only incorrect but inflammatory. Please treat it as such. Thank you.
Maybe I should go. You just answered my question. Hi, I'm Ketan Gandhi. I'm a CFO. I'm sorry?
Did you sign it?
Yes, I did.
Thank you,
While
sir.
you were talking.
Very efficient.
I know we have a long line. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate the support that the college needs and getting from all of you here. Anyways, my name is Ketan Gandhi. I'm the CFO and Vice President of Administrative Services at the college. I'm here to basically clarify what Mike just did. Earlier you heard a comment. There was a line item that somebody mentioned about operating loss. It was not the bottom line or the net number is what is required or needed to look at. College, state-funded and county-funded colleges have three main funding sources. So the operating loss was after one funding source, not all three funding sources. You also heard Mike talk about an emerging fourth funding source from foundation, from local community members. That's what it needs, it requires to provide the quality programs at the college. If you had looked at the detailed financial statements from the book, one would see that the net number under the President Dr. Connolly and the great board that we have led by Judge Parker, over the last 3 years, the net number has increased from 28.1 million to today 32.7 million. Most colleges, all public and private, show operating loss. The net number, which is a key number, comes from how well it's managed. So hopefully you have seen what has happened over the last 3 years, that this college has managed well, and with that management, with that what they have improved the reserves, it helps them to make new investments and bring in new programs to the county. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Earlier, somebody talked about an environmental study on the property. Do you have a copy of that, or is that being done?
Well, there's several phases, as somebody mentioned here before too. We are at phase 1, which is just the lease. To get to phase 2, which would be the purchase, we would do the environmental study. So there will be an environmental study. It's a comprehensive, in-depth. It's going to cost us some money to do that. And from that study, we'll decide whether we buy the property at what they're asking for, who does the fix. We will guarantee that the McGuire's will fix what we find from the environmental study. So it comes in phases. So we are only at phase 1 right now, sir.
Do you have an estimate of what that cost would be if you were to purchase? And is that included in the total package?
We don't know what the environmental study is going to tell us. So once we know that number, then we'll have a better idea what the remedial cost would be, which will be borne by the seller. All right? Thank you.
Sir, can you provide a detailed cost breakdown?
Absolutely. Like when you have a special meeting, we'll be glad to come and show you.
Okay, great. Can you provide that beforehand, or are you going to provide it at that meeting?
We can do that.
Okay. Have you done any analysis on the value of the property? Have you engaged the services of someone to do a price analysis? Appraiser.
We have the appraiser. Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do those numbers come back at?
I know we are getting a much cheaper price than that. If I would, 22. 3 million, right? 2.3 million. That's what we are buying at 2.3 million. 2.3 million.
Okay. The appraisal came back at 2.3 million. Thanks.
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Director and Thomas Russo. I'm from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, but I'm the town manager here in the town of Newton, and with me is Mayor Helen LaFois. Just first, non-college related, I want to compliment the board on actually Mr. Kelly's appointment. He's a great advocate for the town and the county, and it's a pleasure seeing Kevin up there, and also my Randolph predecessor, Greg Pop. He was a great selection as your county administrator. This is not how I thought this was going to go. When I envisioned what McGuire's property would be years ago when I found out that Sean and Mike were leaving. I did not envision that we would be discussing a county-related project on that parcel. In fact, it's not just one parcel. It's actually 9 parcels that represent the redevelopment area. Several parcels are owned by the town of Newton, several by Sean and Mike, and then there's a few parcels related to the county historical buildings and also the post office. Town invested tens of thousands of dollars, countless hours of staff and professional time. We did not envision this. However, after much reflection and conversation, I think we're on the cusp of something even greater than we previously imagined. Several weeks ago in my police department conference room, we had a meeting between the town and the college. There are approximately 27 professionals, staff, and municipal stakeholders, and we had a great conversation led by Judge Parker and Dr. Connolly and the mayor and myself just to learn more about this project, because I'm sure there are a lot of people in the room who were like myself who said, yeah, how did we get this far this fast? And that's an honest statement. However, after listening to Dr. Connolly and Judge Parker, I realized that although the town might not have been in the loop initially on the nuances of the project, the college leadership certainly had put a lot of heart and time into this project. So today, the way we look at it, at least for the town of Newton, we're not here to speak on the issue of funding. We leave that to all of you. But as the town manager, I'm the CEO of the organization, I have to look at this as a land use matter. So is this the highest and best use for these parcels? I look at the college, I look at the county, I look at the town, I look at private developers like John Questlake, I look at the hospital, Thor Labs, and other partners that are interested in seeing this project succeed. There's a lot of great people that are involved that want to make this work. Like I said, I'm not here to speak to the issue of funding, and I'm not going to get in the middle of the conversations between the county and the college. That's between all of you. But my job as the CEO of the town is to make things work, to solve problems. So I look at this as an opportunity. If this is done correctly, and when I say correctly, what I mean by that is not a short term, we're looking at welding and we're looking at a restaurant, and which are great uses, and the Culinary Institute and all of that. This needs to have a long-term vision, and we've been represented by the county college powers that be that they will share our vision, or at least have conversations about that vision. What does that vision look like? There needs to be retail, there needs to be a parking deck, and yes, there needs to be housing. If those components are part of this project long-term, this will be a home run, not just for the town, but for the college and the county. Absent those things, then I think we're having a different conversation. So I'm here to represent the town along with the mayor and say that our town council, our staff, our professionals and volunteers are ready to make this vision a reality if that's what the county desires. And I'm just very proud to be leading the town. There's a lot of great projects going on, the Armory, G&H, Hicks and Patterson Avenue redevelopment areas, Thor Labs expansion, the hospital expansion. It's a great time to be in the town of Newton. It's a great time to invest in the town of Newton. And if we do this correctly, this would be the most innovative public-private project in the town, certainly since Thor Labs and possibly ever. So with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Good evening, Helen LaFois, Mayor, Town of Newton. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight and to everybody that's attended meetings. Often in our council meetings, we say that we prefer to have people in the audience. It means people that are engaged in our community and want to talk about the issues, good, bad, or indifferent. So here we are, and I appreciate the 7 o'clock time start as well. So thank you very much. As Mr. Russo indicated, you know, in mid-July or so, we brought all the professionals and all the core stakeholders to the table because we wanted to hear firsthand the full depth and breadth of the project and what the college was looking at, because we too had seen things in the paper, or there were single conversations that were going on, and we thought that the best way to have some engagement is to bring everybody to the table. The presentation that was brought to us, as Mr. Russo indicated, you know, initially we all had questions about the density, about how does it affect the redevelopment plan, what happens to the rateable question, all questions that our taxpayers have and want to know answers to. And so we've been comfortable and interested in the college's responses and their willingness to work along with private entities and developers and the town to talk about uses in addition to the uses that they've proposed on this site. So that's housing. I'm also happy to report to you that the RPM building at the end of Spring Street is completely full. So housing, retail, parking, these are all things that Spring Street needs. And despite maybe some of the people that are more positive about the outlook on Spring Street, or some people that are a little more negative, somewhere in the middle is the truth. We do have businesses that are opening, businesses also closed, we know that. But we know that big projects bring infusion. It was just under a decade ago that we were having the same conversations about a company called Thor Labs. And if you recall, many of the people at the county level were involved in that conversation as well, because we had to think of interesting and collaborative ways to work about the financing for Thor Labs to stay, because they were being enticed by Pennsylvania and other states to move them. And Alex Cable believed in the town of Newton, believed in Sussex County, and wanted to grow his world headquarters here. And so we took some gambles, and we made some things happen, and we worked collaboratively. And that's really the whole point of, I think, this project and where the council currently sits now, is that we are intent and purposeful in the collaborations that we have with developers. We have 6 areas that have redevelopment plans associated in the town of Newton, all of which are having conversations ongoing. And what happens when people develop is they bring jobs. And all of us, whether you're at the county level, the state level, the town level, we all want jobs coming into Sussex County. The state has deemed the area a agro-tourism county. We, I think, in the room want to see more of that, and bringing the types of jobs that Thor Labs and the college is going to train for, I think are going to be important. We look forward to the special meeting. I'm glad that we're taking a little bit of a step back, just like the town of Newton did, to gather all the information needed to make sure that we're making a qualified and a detailed decision, whatever that decision may be. And as Mr. Russo indicated, we're not here to talk finances or tell the freeholders which way to go. We're just wanting to be here to tell you that we're at the table. We're willing to continue conversations and support a project that's going to bring people and jobs into the community. The other thing that I'll just make a note of when we talk about collaborations, when Thor Labs, a major employer in the county, uses their private resources to take ads out like this and invest money in a project because they believe in it, there's something that has to be, there's notes that have to be taken on that. We have, throughout the state, we have examples of projects just like this. Down in Glassboro with Rowan University, and I could go on and on, and I know our time is up, but just wanted to let you know that on behalf of the council.
You still have 3.5 minutes.
Oh, I do? Thank you. You know, the other thing that I'll say, thank you, is that being the county seat, what I'll remind folks that, you know, 1/3 of our properties are non-ratables. Of the remaining properties that are in town, 50% of them are tenant, owner-occupied properties, right? So we have lots of unique things going on in the town of Newton, in addition to being the county seat and having county government. So when you have the college and the hospital and major employers all working together with the town and with the county on visions that are complementary and projects that can move not just the town but the county forward, I think that's something to take into consideration. The other thing is Newton, we've invested some resources in calling ourselves a college town, right? We have put banners on poles. We have tried to use shuttles to bring students onto Spring Street. All different types of ideas, working collaboratively with the college to try to re-engage students in the downtown, bring students to downtown, bring people up to the college. We've partnered with them on concerts in the parks. We've done all types of things, and we haven't had really this mass infusion that we've been looking for in terms of a partnership. Perhaps this is the project that'll do that. And then what I'll just say in closing is that we've heard people talk about the need for skills to be developed. And as a mother of 3 kids in college, a lot of our kids' friends have started out going to the 4-year school because they were told that's what they were supposed to do. That they did well in high school, that they were prepared, that they were going to a 4-year school. And many of those kids after 2 years have come back because they found out that the major they were told to major in wasn't what worked for them. Or they went to school undecided and still didn't figure out that a white-collar job or professional career was what was in store for them. And many of those students, friends, family and friends of ours have come back and they've looked for technical schools, and they're going out of county for some of those technical schools because we don't have the resources here. And now we're seeing kids that are staying out of county because that's where the jobs are. You've heard from business owners, and there are many, many more that are saying, we can't hire in county. So when you talk about ripple effects, potentially this is a project that will create those. Thank you.
There was 3 items that Mr. Russo mentioned that were necessary from your perspective for the project. One was a parking deck, second housing, I think there was a third.
Retail.
Retail, okay. Have you engaged in conversations with the college about those?
Yes.
Okay, and what's been the result of it? Is there a possibility of citing them on the property?
I won't speak for the mayor, but there was a favorable response in having those conversations. There was no commitment long-term, obviously, because I know that's a financial consideration, and the complication or the benefit comes into utilizing our parcels possibly for the parking with the Adams lot behind the Spring Street Pub and Grill, that area. But we did enlist the support of the professional, actually the gentleman who did the redevelopment at Rowan, Joe Guest from JGSC and Associates, and he did an analysis for us. He was involved in the meeting. And and this is something people don't realize, and I apologize for taking the time, but for the downtown of any community to succeed, you need to have enough housing in that area to support the businesses in the downtown. As much as I love our friends in Sparta, Byram, and some other towns, having them come to Newton and support the downtown is not enough. I need 200 to 300, 400 apartments in the downtown so that when those people walk out of their buildings, they're looking for the bank and the cleaners and the food stores, etc. That's what makes a downtown, whether it's State College, whether it's Westfield, Red Bank, pick your downtown that we all go to and enjoy. That's what we're missing. So the college seemed receptive to having those conversations, and initially, I was not thrilled with how this transpired, and I've said this to Dr. Connolly and Judge Parker, because it felt like the college was moving fairly aggressively and the town really wasn't brought up to speed initially like it should have been. Having said that, I think there is a unique opportunity to have a collaborative effort with the developer, with the town, with the parking authority. There are grant funds available that we can leverage, and I think we can make this work in the long run. And I think them being at the location for a year, actually through a lease, actually gives us that time to work this through, to engage our professionals, to see if the parcels can even handle this type of development. The answer might be no, but at least those are the things worth exploring to see if they're viable. And then is it a partnership between the college, the county, the town, the parking authority, and a private developer or Thor Labs or other entities. I'm not saying it's an easy lift, but I'm saying it's a possibility that could really work well in the long term.
If I understand you correctly, you said you wanted a parking deck, retail, and apartments?
Housing, yeah.
On that same property? And
There's
there's room for all of this?
Well, yes.
Plus the college?
Well, we have a redevelopment plan that goes up.
Big apartments?
We have a redevelopment plan that goes up 8 stories. So yeah, can the parcels accommodate housing at that level? Sure. But it's got to be something that developers considers putting their capital in, because the county doesn't have the money. We don't have the money to do that. And remember, when I started off my presentation, this is not how I thought it was going to go. I've spoken to hotels. We had a redeveloper, Woodmont Properties, out of Morristown, who was on board. We've gone through many iterations of designs and developments and financials, and I think it might take a collaboration of government, private, to make this work financially. And like I said, this is not an easy lift by any stretch, and don't let anybody say it is. It's not. But long term, it could work. But it really takes having, and to the Freeholder Director's credit, having all the stakeholders at the table at the same time. Yeah, it's time to do that to see if this can work in the long term.
The parking deck that you're as part of this vision, do you foresee that being paid for with public funds or private funds?
I think it might have to be both, because the parking authority, which owns the parcels, has access to certain types of grant funding that a developer wouldn't have access to, or that the town wouldn't have access to. So I think it would have to be a collaboration between all the different parties. And as far as the housing goes, I think for it to work, based on my conversations with the professionals, it's not just housing for the students. Because students don't necessarily, I have 2 college students, you have 3, they don't necessarily have a lot of spending money unless mom and dad.
Access,
correct.
right, yeah.
So that the way we envision the housing through our professionals is a combination of market rate rental apartments, high-end, like what's above the Style Shop, but also some version of either faculty housing or student housing. Floor Labs is adding another 300 to 500 jobs in the next 18, 24 months. The hospital is expanding, so it might have to be a combination of all of that type of housing to work financially, just to make it work.
And just one last question. Have you, there's about an $80,000 tax bill for that parcel,
Yes.
which would be going away if the college were to take it over. Have you entertained talks with the college about a pilot or
Yes.
something of that effect?
Yes.
And have those talks been, have you gotten positive responses?
Yes.
And how, about 40,000 out of 80,000 is for the school. Have you discussed it with the school, their loss of the 40,000?
I've had conversations with Dr. Green, because him and I meet every other month, but we haven't drilled down that far into, because, you know, a traditional pilot, the county gets 5%, right, and the town gets 95%, so we haven't drilled that far down into what the pilot would actually look like, but that's.
And partially because this first year is affording that conversation,
Right.
that longer term conversation, right? Because for the first year, we wouldn't be losing that rate.
But ultimately, the town would have zero leverage over the college to demand the pilot. So the time to talk about it would be now, I would think.
Oh, I'll take it one step further, Mr. Director. We have absolutely no leverage to stop this project because of the municipal land use law, which I'm sure Kevin can speak to. So when I was presented with this, I said, how can we make this work? Because the town does not have leverage, unless we're looking at eminent domain, which I don't think is something the town is considering. We need, as a municipality, we need to figure out a way to make this work. Whether you decide to move forward, or the Board of Estimate, or the college, that's for you guys to decide. But that's why I said, we look at this as a land use matter. How can we make this project work from a land use perspective? And then we'll work with everyone on the finance.
And then from the council's perspective, just, to take that one step further, the council's not interested in entertaining eminent domain on any of those parcels or even getting into the conversation. So Mr. Russo is correct. We really don't have really anything to hold the college to the fire, in essence, right? And as a matter of fact, we have the chairman of our planning board here just to tell you about the presentation that the college made to the planning board as well, the land use board, and what the results of that were as well, because again, that was a courtesy review more than a formal review, because our hands are tied, quite frankly. So in our opinion, it's making the best out of the situation. And so how can we be a conversation or a player at the table to make sure that whatever project comes forward, if that's what gets approved, that it is the best scenario for all parties involved.
Just for the record, we did have a phone conversation, myself, the Freeholder Director, the Mayor, and a number of other people. I think Ms. Colwell was also on the line.
And Councilman Flynn as well.
And Councilman Flynn, and we were trying to flesh out where you were at this to make sure that we were all at the table, because we were finding out things in the newspaper also. So just to let you know, we have been, to those people out there, we have been trying to find out what's going on as we went along. And we were pleasantly surprised that we were all in an open-minded state of mind to try and get where we had to go.
Yeah. And I think, back to my theme of collaboration for this year, I think that's what you're going to find through our professionals, through the administration, certainly through the councils, that we have an open mind when it comes to this project. And that's because the college has said, and they've put into print here tonight, in addition to in the paper, that they are looking forward to partnering with the town of Newton along with private entities to develop housing, retail, parking, et cetera. So we have to take that at face value and take it for what it's worth.
So, Mayor, what you are saying is that you see value in this project.
We see value in that. We think that it's the beginning of a larger infusion to the potential of all of those parcels. And what I mean by that is, you heard from Mr. Questlett tonight about his project that he just redid at the Style Shop and is intending to do with a parcel that butts the parcels that we're talking about tonight. And we're seeing success. We're seeing success in the RPM building. We're seeing those types of successes moving forward, conversations on our other redevelopment areas. This is part and parcel, no pun intended, of those conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Jason Fruit. I'm the program supervisor.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Jason Fruit. I'm the program supervisor at the college, automotive, building construction, machine tool, and in the fall will be a welding program. I have 3 points that I would kind of like to share in regard to this whole project. There are a lot of great points here made tonight. Can't find workers, keeping our students, keeping our young ones here in the community, in the town. Most people don't know in the automotive trade, to be a technician at a dealership, to be a valuable employee, you have to be 19 years old. New Jersey liability insurance, for about 50% of the dealerships that we partner with alone, require that technician to be 19 years old. Under the age of 19, even if their skill set is that great, if they can't drive a customer car on property, they can't pull a vehicle in and out of the shop, in and out of the lifts. So they actually take away from the performance, the production, and the bottom line. So again, with having that next tier of education, will allow to provide more training and give more opportunities. My second point, and I'm going to come to you as somebody else. Obviously, I always like to believe that this whole thing started might be because of me. You know, we came here and the school had support in me and we built some great programs. But now I'm going to come to you as a disabled vet. I retired in 2006. I was actually forced into retirement. Trade was great for me. Trade was a huge help, and trade also gave me an opportunity to support myself, my family, and my parents. I got an email the other day from one of our younger veterans also, who's about to enter his second year at the program. I'd like to share that. My name is Joseph McDonald. I'm a current student at SCCC for automotive. Excuse me. I served in the United States Marine Corps, and when I got out, I knew I had to do something. When I was discharged from the Corps, I fell into a depression, readapting to civilian life, not knowing the next direction my life was going. Unhappy with where I was, I found therapy and happiness in working on my own car, which turned into working on family members' cars, which ultimately made me happy and brought me out of the cycle of depression and not knowing what to do with my life. Going to Sussex County Community College for the automotive program has taught me a lot. Skills and knowledge I use day to day in my job in the wire dealership, all while doing the thing I enjoy the most, automotive. The saying goes, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. The automotive program is not only important to standard students, but also to the veterans. A good chunk of the people currently in the automotive program are veterans varying from branch to branch. Excuse me. This is not only training for our futures, a degree or a certification. To some, this is our therapy from the world and our passion. Thank you for all your time. Best regards, Joseph McDonald. And the last point that I would like to share, or I would like to make, when we question, why do we need more space? Why do we need to grow? Why do we need to advance? August 8th, 2017 was about going into my second real month at the college as a full-time employee. And I got my first project to work on. They said, you need to do this. So I was sitting with our administration and Freeholders, and I was presented with the contacts for Campbell. And I was told, start working on a diesel program. And over the course of the next year, I met with the representatives, Joe and PJ over at Campbell, trips on campus, off campus, toured all of the facilities we use, the resources we have, and they finally said yes. We like what you have, we like what you do, make this for us. So we kept working together, collaborating on the project, and in the end we developed a full diesel curriculum. We submitted it to our curriculum committee, it was approved and approved up to pipeline. So with that being said, there's a lot of different factors, a lot of different variables that this project moving forward can really support. Thank you.
Good evening. Just as a point of order, before we get started, in the interest of full disclosure, I am an elected official in the county. I'm a member of the Leadership Council, and I also serve on the leadership team of the Sussex County League of Municipalities. I'd like to be on record that as saying that the opinions and statements that I'm making here tonight are my own and don't reflect the positions of any of the other council boards that I just mentioned, just to clear that up. So my name is Christine Quinn. I'm from Sparta. I'm here tonight. The driver for much of the discussion here this evening is bond, or a series of bonds and commitments. So I'm here to talk about a different type of bond and commitment. Tonight I want to talk about the bond between the members, the family members within Sussex County and their friends, between communities and municipalities and business owners and school officials, a bond to a place collectively we all call home, and a commitment that we have made as elected officials to protect the bonds at all costs. Each of the 24 municipalities separately and collectively face challenges. Some are specific to our unique location, other challenges we share with municipalities across the nation. Where we set ourselves apart from others is how we respond. Not unlike many other counties across the nation, declining census numbers over the past few years have posed a serious concern for Sussex County and its residents. From a leadership and planning perspective, being able to attract new residents and build business has in many cases been forced to the back burner in an effort for most of us to focus our efforts on simply retaining what we have. There are many driving forces behind the decline, but regardless, each number that drops in the census represented a bond that's broken between a resident or a family and the place they call home. It's frustrating because drivers behind the decline are often out of our control. But as I mentioned before, with each challenge we have an opportunity to think outside the box, to be creative, to see opportunities to come together and move forward. This is how we become different from the rest. A recent and significant improvement in our economy has put us in an amazing position, and whether we are faced with new opportunities. Across parts of this county, we are seeing a trend in development, both residential and commercial. And for the first time in a long time, we're faced with an interesting situation. Do we have the skilled workforce to answer the call? The business footprint in this county is becoming diverse, whether it be an issue of reskilling, upskilling, the need for new skills in trades or legacy degree areas or programs. We must be positioned to respond so that the discussion changes from business owners wondering if they can find the right people to fill the jobs, to a discussion around the timeline of when businesses can expect skilled workers on site and ready to go. The ability to answer the call, as I mentioned earlier, highlights the importance and relevance of a treasure many of us know well. That's not even a mile from where we stand now, and that's Sussex County Community College. With investment and development within the county before us, it is time, now more than ever, to invest and develop our residents. Through partnership between freeholders, the college, local business, the chamber, municipal and county government, land boards, and professionals around this county, with the expansion of SCCC and the new McGuire campus in Newton, we are now in the best position to do that. A skilled employed workforce is not where it ends. It's where it all begins. This is the catalyst for sustainability throughout our county, the first step in a path forward for our collective communities filled with new opportunities in business, medical, culinary, retail, real estate, housing, mechanics, engineering, and more. The chain reaction started with the right people and the right businesses, fueled by community collaboration and a vision aligned between this board and the community college. This is now the canvas in front of us now, on which we're going to paint our future. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, my name is Dave Studer. I'm a business owner in Sussex County. I've had my own Studer's Automotive for the past 7 years. And I worked at dealerships in the county for the last 35. There's a shortage of auto mechanics, big time. You know, we really need, you know, this project to go forward. You know, we all drive cars. We all need somebody to fix it. There's no one out there. You know, a lot of the young kids, they don't want to fix. They don't want to get dirty. You know, but it's rewarding when you have a problem, especially an electronic problem in a car, you know, to fix it, have it go out the door, make the customer happy on it. And 17 years ago, when my son was looking for a school like this, there was nothing in this area. He had to go all the way to Wyoming for a year to school, which was very expensive.
It's a long way away.
But, you know, he learned his trade. He's a machinist now. You know, it's a dying breed, but you know, someone, you know, the stuff needs to be machined. Things need to be made. So, you know, I'm really in support of the whole college doing this. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Elwood. Together with my wife, Barbara, who's seated right here, I am the owner of Good Hand Farm in Andover. We're an organic produce farm. 650 families get their groceries from us. Owners of CSA, or Community Supported Agriculture Shares. And if you drive down Brighton Road from Simon Peter and past those farms back in there these days, you see all kinds of activities with people coming and going constantly. I could talk about our need for technical skill, but I'm not going to. That's been spoken very well for by people who have come before me. I'd like to speak to you as the father of 3 children. We all love our kids, we're all proud of them, we all think they're the best kids in the world. Mine come pretty close. Of those 3, 2 have left the county already. Next month, the 3rd will leave also. My kids were assets to this county. My oldest son, Nathan, was the valedictorian of Newton High School in the class of 2004. He was the captain of the soccer team, and he was highly regarded by everybody in the community. But like his older sister, Lindsay, he also left. And my youngest son, Peter, will be leaving for Baltimore, Maryland next month. All my kids studied some, by the way, at Sussex County Community College. Recently, a prominent surgeon in Sussex County asked me if I would ask my son, who is also a surgeon, a graduate from Columbia Medical School, and now finishing his residency, if he would consider coming back. Sussex County would be a great spot for him. Nathan Elwood is married to a farmer who could fit right into Good Hand Farm and be a great asset to our community, and he would be a very skilled surgeon. But his reaction, with all due respect to those of you who are in government and mayors of these towns and so forth, was essentially, there's nothing, Dad, in Sussex County for me to come back to. I don't want to pretend that my kids are the kind of kids that would probably be going to a trade school in the first instance, but they're people who want a community, something that has vitality, it's growing, something that attracts people to come and to stay. And it's from that standpoint that I would encourage you to consider the bonds. I love the reference the former speaker made to the bonds that are broken when there's nothing back home for the kids to stay for. Thank you very much.
Well, my name is Tyler Morgus. I could talk about the support for this project with community college as a college grad. I could do it as a former college professor. I could do it as a town resident of Newton for the last 12 years. I could do it as a board member of STCC College, or I could do it as my professional career manager of Thorlabs Optomechanics Business Unit. And I think I'll do the latter because this is something that Thorlabs, and specifically my business unit, needs. We need qualified technical people. I have 200 people working under my group. We have grown by 15% this year. I could probably have done more if I had people to fill my vacant positions. If I was given a list of machinists tomorrow to hire out of the STC program, 6 jobs easily, I'd probably get 12 approved if I really had the talent available. And the Optomechanics business unit is going to be the principal occupant of the new building that's being planned for Thorlabs. So, you know, if we can make this program work, they can be educated on one end of Spring Street and they can be employed on the other. And we have at Thorlabs a 29-year track record of success and growth. And that doesn't appear to be in jeopardy. But we can certainly hire Sussex County graduates if they exist, if they're given an opportunity to get their education at the community college at the technical level. So, you know, this is a project that's certainly going to be tough, but there's a lot of smart people in this room. We've heard a lot of smart people talking. We've gotten a lot of support, both at Thorlabs and the college, from the board here and town council. And, you know, I think if we put our efforts to making the project successful, instead of putting our efforts toward holding it up, there's a pretty good chance that, you know, 10 years from now, this is going to be another crown jewel in the Newton Sussex County economy and community.
I firmly believe in this project. I'm grateful for the energy and spirit behind this project toward the youth, to teach the youth some trades that need to be taught in their own school manner, foundational theory, and current computer button pressing, and not really understanding the way that perhaps your father was taught or your grandfather was taught. I believe is something that the school is hoping to resurrect. I think it would really be helpful to the industry altogether. I have the support petition here that everyone signed and agreed to go ahead and move forward in making the McGuire Chevrolet property on Main Street, Newton, into a second campus for Sussex County Community College with programs in welding, diesel mechanics, machine technology, and auto service. We see this as a great forward motion to supporting young professionals into professions that are highly in need. Additionally, a current vacant structure, which is in good order for the proposal, will be revitalized and will provide some vital energy into and around Spring Street. This is a welcome and exciting idea to these people. We have, in just 1 week, gained 170 signatures of people that weren't able to be here, and everybody that signed this, I was met with just real excellent support for this subject. I know there's a lot of things to be discussed, but I'm grateful for just an open forum to review that. Thank you.
Harvey Rosef, Byram, representing myself. And I really appreciate that you've held off on these resolutions and you're pulling together a group now, all the stakeholders, to see who is actually participating, who is talking, who is here now, who might be here later. but you're going to be spending the money today. And I think it's very important everybody sits down and tells you what they're going to do. Freeholder Yardley, you ran last year saying public should sign when there's a bond. And one of your problems tonight is past bond funds or past bond permissions that were not spent are being used today for another purpose. And that diversion is what puts you in the problem you have today, where you're not getting the full information you've requested and the full information necessary for an informed decision. And almost everything that's going on tonight is great. I mean, we all want better education. We all want our kids to succeed. We all want to keep jobs in the community. And yet, taxes keep going through the roof. If we were achieving that, the tax rate would be going down because GDP would be going up here. So the very fact that you're sitting down today and saying, who is participating in this project? Really participating, not living off the project, but participating. You know, the phrase here that's used quite often tonight, public-private partnership. Who is the private here? The school's
Right here.
The school's not private.
I'm private.
Sir, please.
No,
Are you contributing?
Please,
Absolutely.
sir.
Okay.
Harvey, please address the
So you should have before you what that participation is, what will it achieve, and is the bulk of these funds, not just the bond funds, but future operational funds. Are they coming from the public, or are they coming from the private? Because right now, when you expand this school, you're still looking at probably another 8 to 12 years of declining student population. So if the trades are to be supported, if we have identified that as beneficial to our community, and I'm not diminishing trades at all. In fact, I work in aspects of trades, directly in the projects that McGuire is going to support tonight. What else? What is not to be prioritized now? Because you only have a certain student base. I mean, is everything that's on the agenda at SCCC still to be kept? Or is something going to be culled out and we're going to reinvest in something more important? Nothing's been discussed like that. I will also note, over the last 8 years, I think it's 8 years, student population has dropped 40%. That's 40% less call on the services being provided at SCCC. But county taxes have gone up, while the state recognized there's 40% less demand, and every year they're slowly reorganizing their funding. I think it's dropped 20 to 25% over the last 8 years. The county is paying more. And when you do this program, when Newton wants to receive a pilot, that'll be the rest of the county paying for that pilot. The adjunct professors will not be getting a better pay. The students may or may not get a good tuition rate. We'll be funding taxation, not education. This could be put on the campus of SCCC. It's not that costly to build these buildings. This could be put in a cooperative nature at VOTEC. In fact, I think it should be in a cooperative nature at VOTEC. You have management there. You have a wide range of teachers. They are currently doing their program now, sending students off to engineering school. Maybe the problem here is VOTEC is not heavily engaged in this program. And just to close, I'd like to just mention, I took the Culinary Arts Adult School program, class at VOTEC, in depth. I think we went 2 to 3 times a week for a year. It's not given anymore. I note that welding adult classes, certificate programs, are given at VOTEC. VOTEC already as the platform for you to build on. And then maybe it should be combined with the college, with some applied sciences, material sciences, and natural. You need all the players at the same table.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Freeholder Director and members of the Freeholder Board. My name is Greg LaFois. I'm Chairman of the Town of Newton's Planning Board. I'm the third member of the Gang of Three tonight, so from the town. So I'm here to not necessarily repeat what you heard from our town manager and mayor, but to supplement the information that they provided from the perspective of our entire planning board. As Mr. Russo mentioned, the town put forth a significant amount of effort to develop a redevelopment plan for the subject property in accordance with state and local guidelines and regulations to help guide the redevelopment of the property. We had a presentation last month, and as Mr. Russo stated, the opportunities that presented themselves from the private developers seemed promising, but nothing ever came to fruition based on the redevelopment plan that was prepared. So we received a presentation at our regular planning board meeting last month from the Sussex County Community College and their technical and legal team. And our planning board is in favor of and very excited about the project. As Mr. Russo stated, although the project is not totally in conformance or what we were looking for as part of the redevelopment plan, it is a good use for the property and offers plenty of opportunities to redevelop the property. Since it is a county entity that is potentially moving into the property, the planning board has no authority to approve or disapprove the project. However, as part of the planning board's services and advisory capacity to the town council, we do review the project for its inconsistency or consistency with the town's master plan. After hearing the testimony, the planning board found that the project is not inconsistent with the town of Newton's master plan. And we've sent a letter to the town council stating our findings. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Very nice space on the sheet.
There's no more space.
I'm at the bottom right now.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh my God.
My name is John Snyder. I live in Sanderson Township. I'm a retired vocational technical high school teacher, 27 years at Essex County Vocational School, both at Bloomfield Tech and Newark Tech. And one thing I'd like to clarify is we refer to it as VoTech, but I don't think that's the name anymore, is it? What's the official name of our
Sussex Technical School.
technical school?
Sussex Technical School.
It doesn't say high school.
That's right.
So I reiterate some of the things that Mr. Rosef said about bringing them into this, and they're the ones that are the experts in teaching these types of programs: culinary, welding, automotive. You got the facility there. They have a pool building, which I don't think it's a pool anymore. I'm not sure what it is, but something has to be done with that space. And there's a space that the county, I guess, already owns somehow, quasi through the vocational board. Another thing is I need to be educated. Mr. Rosef also mentioned that these resolutions talking about bonds, 2015, 2016, and 2012, I don't get it. This money was allocated for certain purposes. It's gone, right?
Wasn't used.
Well, you want to finish your comments now?
Well, I can understand why if the money was allocated for certain projects, then it should have been used to spend. They found these estimates, it costs $2 million for this, $3 million for that, and most of the time these projects go over and they come back and they need more money. But I'm gathering here, I'm guessing that some of these funds weren't used. Why aren't they just turned back to the taxpayer and have our tax bills lowered? And I'm not speaking in favor or against of these programs. The programs sound really great, but it also sounds to me like it should be
brand new bond come out with a public hearing specifically for the projects that wanted to use, rather than these 3 other bonds that apparently weren't used completely. In response to the, whether or not
Wait,
there's money
can you
left.
finish your comments?
Unfinished, yeah.
Okay. So I think you had 2 questions. First, you asked about the VOTEC, the name. It's
The
the
name.
Sussex County Technical School.
It's not just a high school, in other words.
It's just the official name. And then the second question you asked, is the money gone from the bonds? And Mr. Faulkner, maybe I turn it over to you to explain how that.
So there were bonds that were previously authorized for certain capital improvements. And
Do you have a total for the 3? What would have been?
I do not have the total available at this moment.
And what the original total was it they were bonded for, though?
I certainly can obtain that information. And there were conversations that were had by the College Board of Trustees relative to the original authorizations and the particular projects that those bonds had authorized. And the Board of Trustees passed a resolution recommending the reallocation of monies that had been previously authorized for certain projects to be reallocated to other projects, which would include the development of this middle skills program that's being discussed now. And so these other projects were identified by the College Board of Trustees and put before the Board of School Estimate for consideration. And at the most recent Board of School Estimate meeting that was held earlier this year, the Board of School Estimate concurred with the recommendations put forward by the College Board, College Trustees. And so what the freeholders now are asked to consider is the formal amendment of the original authorizations that provided for a certain set of projects to be reallocated consistent with the action taken by the Board of Trustees and the Board of School Estimate.
Who did they ask them? You said the freeholder board is being asked to reconsider.
They're being asked as a result of the actions.
Who's doing the asking now?
The board is being asked by the college trustees and the Board of School Estimate, the actions taken by both those entities.
What's the makeup of the Board of School Estimate?
There are 3 freeholders and 2 members of the College Board of Trustees.
But as a taxpayer, really, I question who has the right to say, oh, we got this money to build this building, but we're not going to build that, we're going to do this instead. To me, that's not what the way it should work for taxpayer. Taxpayer votes on something, or you approve it and then make a change. This doesn't sound right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may write my name on the back, or?
Actually, if you don't mind, thank you very
I
much.
get yellow paper.
Yes.
I'd like
I'm
it.
hoping we don't need the whole side.
What do you mean? There's 20 people outside waiting. I call them in now. My name is Anwar Kwarman. I've had the privilege of moving into the town of Newton about 36 years ago. And after gone to the school system and reaching my adulthood, I took over the family business and got involved into different activities and became part of a lot of good businesses and owners, and how can we bring back Newton back in the day. And it went through cycles where we were brainstorming is, all right, who can we attract from the outside? How come Hoboken's got all this beautiful businesses? How does Jersey City succeed? And we learned from all this different ventures. Newark from the left side of the tracks to the right side of the tracks, the ironbounds, Trenton, Princeton, and so on. And we studied all this success in all these different formats and found out. And to our disadvantage, nobody was interested in coming to Newton. So then it was a game changer and says, okay, what can we do? Who do we have in Newton that would help Newton? Who do we have? What do we have to work with? Bing, a little light came on, and it was a no-brainer. The college took over the Don Bosco College, and they have a lot of people there. How do we connect Spring Street with the college? Can we do a bus? Can we do something? Then another light bulb came on. Why don't we have a seasonal store that is owned and run and maintained by the college? And if you look at a seasonal store every 3 months, every so often, the college has to revise and redo the marketing. Every part of the college could be integrated into a seasonal store, and they would earn credits and so on. Their friends will be working there, and their relatives will come and see how cute their kids are working in the seasonal store, and they would cross that bridge. I begged, pleaded, and cried to see if I could make an appointment, speaking with the town manager. I think at the time it was Eileen Kitcart, and we were able to get in to an interview with the college round table. They were too busy talking about this beautiful theater that they wanted to do, and it was beautifully done, it was beautifully spent, but it didn't bring people to Spring Street. So that got on the wayside. And then there was a flicker of hope. Once again, the college is interested on Spring Street. How do we connect the two? After all hope was gone, it was resurrected. Now there's a way to bring the college on Spring Street. Somebody asked me, do you think it would help Spring Street? I said, no. Having the college would not help Spring Street, it would save it. There's a difference. You see, historically, for the past 20 years, Spring Street has been going through a lot of vacancies, stores going in, going out, false hopes. They didn't do the right market study. They didn't go after the leakage sales where women's shoes was in demand, or whatever the market study was. Nobody took it, embraced it, and said, I'm going to do what it says. They just did whatever they wanted to do. So vacancy rates have been going up, and if you go now, it's probably the highest vacancy as ever. I do scouting for businesses once in a while, and I also talk to other scouts for businesses. I said, what is it that makes you pick a location at a particular town? And the formula is real simple. They said, when I drive through town and I come to a stop sign, I count how many people that I see. Foot traffic. I said, that's interesting.
Sir, 1 minute.
Thank you. I said, that's great. That gives us something to go by. If the college were to occupy McGuire's, it would bring foot traffic to Spring Street. It would be the rock that falls into the puddle that would bring it's a ripple effect. You want to help Newton become a boulder in the pond and let the ripple effect. John, my friend here, is investing in Newton, knowing that Thorough Labs is bringing in top-notch employees that want good quality rentals. College will bring other businesses. It's obvious. This is the best thing that Newton. It's the best thing for the college. We're both the same. We'll both benefit. And if you're saying, how is the college going to benefit? Well, it's easy. It's name recognition. When people are driving to town, they say, oh, there's a community college here. They'll get information. So it's a no giving. The money, the finances, the little logistics of that can be taken care of. But the truth of the matter is, you're creating not only jobs and careers, you're changing the landscape of Newton and Sussex County. I would hate to look at that property 5 years from now and saying, boy, I wish those guys really did it. I wish there was a college here. But here's an opportunity that you could change something for the positive. If you don't, it will be the same.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
James Hoffman, Newton, lived in Newton since 1986. I'm a school teacher, so I'm going to try to use my teacher voice for all of you. September marks the 27th year that I'm working with the families and the youth here in the community. It also marks the 10th year that I've been involved with our varsity robotics team. I was charged about 10 years ago with two young boys at the high school at the time, Lincoln Noggle and Kevin Kelly. Those two young men came to me and they convinced me that we should go down to New York City and explore the first robotics competition. And I have to say, it was a life-changing experience, and boy, am I glad I did. So I'm at the STEM barn at the fair. I'll try to keep it brief. I'm there for the 10 days, 14 hours a day. I'm enjoying the brief little break that I'm getting from the heat and humidity. And I just wanted to share my perspective as a public school teacher here in the area. I survived because the gates of Picatinny Arsenal opened up for me over 9 years ago. And many of the other corporations and subcontractors, I guess you could say, that they work with. Picatinny employs, I believe, about 5,400 men and women. Many of them are civilian subcontractors that live here in Sussex County. I've had great relationships with them. As an educator, that's how I survived with this program. Some of the other businesses, Myroplastics in Freedom, the manufacturing company, they do plastic extrusions. They help me, greatly for our labs as well. They provided the opportunity to be able to pitch and promote the programs from the fairgrounds. So I thank them for that. But Picatinny Arsenal is probably one of the biggest untapped ones, and I'm hoping that you consider this project that everyone's been pitching lately and consider it. Sealed Air, Nokia, Stryker, NASA, Altaflow, BASF, Haas, McGuire, Pac Devco, Sutherland Packaging, Sterling Hill Mine, New Jersey State Fair, Sussex County Community College. And by the way, Dr. Conley, you're going to be getting one of my co-captains. She's saying
Please address the building.
That young girl, Cassie, that spoke earlier, was one of the leaders on our team. And so she's delivering a presentation tomorrow, I understand, in the office of the RDEC leader, John Herrick. She's going to have an opportunity to get in front of him. She's a summer intern. They're on her second summer doing that. Eastern Millwork down in Jersey City, Johnson & Johnson, among others. And I just wanted you to hear from my perspective how not all these kids need to go off to a four-year program, and many of them just need to get a certificate, an associate degree, and get their hands on something. And I feel this will benefit us greatly. I mean, I've touched, I can't tell you how many kids and how many families over the years in my career. And my program is mainly hands-on technology, so I just want to support it, and I feel that it's greatly needed in our county. And I think that's enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Nancy Cannon. I'm a resident of Newton since 2002. I'm also a student at Sussex County Community College. I just wanted to come as a parent. I knew that when my son was in first grade, he was not a four-year college kid. So the goal was to keep him in school till I could get him to Sussex Tech. He has now since graduated from Sussex Tech, and for his continued education, I had to choose between Ohio or Exton, PA, which is really hard to send a kid off who's got to rent an apartment, work a full job, and have no support system. So I wish that McGuire had been here back then, because it would have been a no-brainer for me to send him there. He has since come back from UTI. He is now back in the county working at Subaru as a tech, working on becoming a master tech up there, hopefully. Again, I also go to Sussex County Community College. I think it would be an absolute amazing add-on to what we're already teaching up there. Plus, there's no other community college, I think, in the area that offers that. So you could have pull from Warren and Morris also, because like Jim said, not a lot of kids are four-year college kids. I knew from the time my son was 6 years old, he was not a four-year college kid. So as a resident of this town, I hope to God you pass this, because I just think it would be such a beneficial thing to our youth and to our town. Thank you. Good evening, Director Rose, Deputy Director Patillo, board members. We really appreciate the opportunity to be heard here tonight and to have you hear the sentiments of the community that we have been here for quite a long time now. We very much look forward to sitting down at a table with all of you in an opportunity to discuss the real wonderful potential for the Maguire campus at Sussex County Community College. I just want to make 2 points. Most people have said just about everything there is to say here today. Ever since the Rutgers Hughes study came out in 2014, there have been cries of the sky is falling, everybody's leaving the county, young people are leaving the county, the people that remain in the county are aging, and the county is going to die. Well, the county hasn't died yet, and I have not heard a single proposal that will keep young people here in the county, except for this Maguire project. It will keep them in the county because it will educate them and train them and give them the opportunity to have well-paid jobs here in the county. We hear from employers all the time, and you heard from them here tonight. They can't hire trained workers here in the county. They hire from outside the county. After a short period of time of commuting, they don't want to commute to the county anymore, which is always interesting for the 60% of the people who commute out of the county, but nevertheless, people don't want to commute into the county. Here we have a program that's ready to roll. This program will educate employees for the businesses that are already here in Sussex County. This program was developed out of conversations with the employers and the business owners in Sussex County, telling us what they need. Alex Cable said, I need machinists, I need welders. You heard some of the people here. The auto people tell us they need trained techs. There are roughly 50 machine shops in Sussex County who tell us that they need these people, machinists. There are 14 new car dealers in the county who need trained techs for their operations. And that's just taking it out of the phone book. You don't even have to go terribly far to find out whether these people are. And you've heard from these businesses, and you've heard how important it is for them to develop the workers here in the county so that they'll stay here. Our young people, 85% of our graduates at Sussex County Community College, stay here in the county. And that's documented by an economic impact study that was done in 2016. These are the kids we want to keep here. These are the kids that we want to train so that they have good incomes and they will live happily here in Sussex County and comfortably here in Sussex County. But you know all that. There is no need to really go on and on about that anymore. What we want to do very much is to work with the town of Newton and to work with the county to develop the Maguire Technical Career Center and the surrounding property. We have a lot of space there. We have a lot of parking available. We want to make that available to the town of Newton so that there will be parking in downtown, so that people won't have to be scurrying around looking for parking spaces. We also want to have the opportunity to work with private entities to develop in that property. We've had conversations with John was there. John has vision that I really appreciate. He looks at the town and he says, this is what it can be. This is what we can do. And having people like that in the town is what is going to make this town and this county continue to grow. We're on the verge of greatness here. We truly are. The town, the county, and the college. In developing this program, funding it adequately, educating our students, and giving people the opportunity to find well-paying jobs here. We have the businesses here. We need to support them. We need to allow them to grow and to sustain their businesses by providing them with that workforce. We very much look forward to working with the county as well as with the town. We appreciate the opportunity to sit down at the table with you. We thank you very much for the opportunity to have
have been heard tonight and to hear from the people in the county that we've been hearing from for quite a long time. Thank you again. I'll just sign my name.
Thank you.
Margaret Baldini. I'm a 42-year resident of Newton. I would be really excited to see the McGuire's property revitalized and utilized in some way. It's been for quite a while. The rest of the town has really been empty for a while. I remember in my youth, going to town. It was the big thing to do on the weekend, and it was exciting. It was a great little place to go. So I would love for us to have that feeling in town again. But I'm not 100% sure that this is the way to do it. Just hearing things from the town manager today about 9 parcels and going up 8 stories in the middle of the historic district, it doesn't really sound feasible. While I support, education, I have my, degree, and I would love to see more education in town. I think maybe you guys could confine it to the area that you already have at the college, and maybe not have a redundant program over here at McGuire's. Since there is the VOTEC, my brother's 50 years old right now, and he's going to VOTEC for welding. So I really know going back to school is a hard thing to do, and it's great that that's available. It would be great, if we could have more programs like that over at VOTEC, where we already have, a facility, and we don't have to invest in more. It is a lot of money for us. The Newton residents are really being strangled by all the county properties in the town. So just want to, hope you consider that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Director and members of the Freeholder Board. I am Rosalie Lamonti. I'm the County Superintendent of Schools for both Sussex and Warren counties, a position which I've held for the past 9 years. And over the past 9 years, I have seen the education ups and downs, I think, of this county. And as was mentioned, we have experienced declining enrollment, yet the demand for technical education has been increasing tremendously. At the college, of which I am a member of the Board of Trustees, the population has been stabilizing under the direction of Dr. Connolly and his staff, which is extremely commendable. I believe the college has been extremely visionary in its approach, in its programs, and in its approach as to how to better partner with the business community. I would urge the Freeholder Board to consider this project very seriously because it is much needed in the county. I had a visit yesterday from the Deputy Assistant Commissioner of Education in Trenton, and he asked me about the county and its challenges. And I mentioned to him how if he were traveling, as I do, north into the county in the early morning, that he would see many, many cars leaving the county on a daily basis for work. And he asked why that was. And I said to him, it is really because there is a lack of economic growth in the county. And that is unfortunate for our students who are graduating from our high schools because there is not enough opportunity for them to stay in the county that they grew up in. So I'm hoping, as many people have come up to tell you, that this project at the college will keep our students in the county as they continue to grow here, hopefully, with their families. So I thank you for your attention, and if you need any information from my office, certainly I would be happy to provide it. Thank you.
Dr. Lamont, before you sit down, you're in a unique position based upon the fact that you see two counties and travel around a lot. How did you come to you being also a member of the board, how did you come to the conclusion that this particular property was the ideal property for this? Did you use a scoring matrix? And what other properties did you look at in the search for the property to utilize for this program?
Well, certainly, this particular property seems to be a terrific opportunity to utilize what was once indeed an automobile dealership to provide programs in automotive technology, diesel technology, etc. It's a terrific property to utilize for those types of programs. The vision of the administration was to also eventually expand programs there to perhaps include things like culinary, which when you talk about the revitalization of the town of Newton would surely, I think, increase the foot traffic and the visibility not only of the college in the community, but the community to the college. So I think it's a win-win on both sides.
And how did that compare to the other sites that you reviewed and looked at?
Quite honestly, I was not involved in the perusal of alternative sites. It was presented to us as a way for the administration to say, we've looked at different opportunities, and this being already built is certainly better than looking at a brand new property.
Do you know the process, how that happens? Or was there a subcommittee formed?
There was certainly the Finance and Facilities Committee that looked in greater detail. I'm not a member of that particular committee, but certainly that committee was given a lot more detail.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
As John Conway, the president of Sussex County Community College, it might seem odd this evening if I didn't speak at all, but really everything has been said here. I'd just like to comment on just a few things. And the first is a sense of gratitude, and gratitude is to you folks. Freeholders created a forum here this evening for making a conversation I believe was rich. It's an opportunity to do that, and that was made possible, frankly, by you and the decorum with which this evening is taking place, and so I'm very, very grateful for that. I think I also just want to make sure that the collaboration between the Sussex County Community College and the town is reinforced. The college is very serious about this collaboration. We honor and respect the redevelopment plan. There's an enormous amount of work that went into that redevelopment plan, and we have no interest in upending that. We want to work with it and inside it. I think that that's absolutely critical. Freeholder Director Rose, you spoke about the need for us to be sensitive to the ratables, tax possible loss there. We have to attend to that. We, in full partnership, intend on working with Tom Russo and the town council along with that. So it's important that not only the Board of Trustees, you hear that from the Board of Trustees, but that you hear that from the administration. It's our intention to be very serious about that particular. And then finally, the private-public partnership and collaboration is critically important. John Prussley is just one of those. Of course, Thor Labs, these are tremendously important partners. The automotive, Co-Linear, Campbell Supply Company, all of these entities, as well as the ones that Mr. Jim Hoffman mentioned. These are all collaborators. They participate with us in one way or another. And frankly, without their support, and sometimes the support comes in a monetary fashion. The hospital is put dollars on the line, for us, put dollars on the line for this particular project. They didn't live in the downtown. So, again, thank you so much for your creation of this forum this evening.
Thank you. Dr. Conlon?
Yes.
There's a number, we've heard there's a number of private donors that are going to be donating. Is there any way to get a copy of the amounts and the agreements that you've signed with those private donors?
Sure, I'll make sure that they don't mind that. I know some of them don't,
Sure.
and some of them do. But if you total the entire thing up, some are kind of contingent upon the execution of the plan in a particular way, and some of them are not. If you take those two different pools of funds, you're talking almost $750,000.
Great, thank you. Anyone else from the public? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Motion by Graham, second by
Before you
Lozaro.
finish, I just wanted to give you the estimate that I got from the president, if I may. There's enough copies.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the floor is closed to the public. I'd like to entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess. Motion by Patillo, second by Graham, discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? Just 1 second before you go. Outside is a pad. If you put your email address on the pad, we will email you when we set up the meeting date for the 4-party talks that will be occurring in the next 6 weeks.
Let the talking heads talk.
We're back in order.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to disregard the rules and to skip number 9, which is freeholder.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Yardley. Discussion. This requires a 3/4 majority vote. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Oh, sigh, okay.
Is that a yes or no? Is that a yes or no? Yes.
Yes. Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Freeholders, please review the consent agenda. And when satisfied, the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that the adoption of said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items 10S, 10T, 10U, 10W, and 10Z, which we'll remove during the approval of the agenda? Motion by Patillo. Second. Second by Graham. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on July 25th, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo, second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session held on July 25th, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion is passed. Freeholders, please review the appointments and/or resignations. When satisfied, please make a motion to accept same.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Motion by Yardley, second by Graham. Discussion. So you are on B, so it may be best to abstain from this. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Abstain.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes. You abstain on it?
Freeholders, please review resolutions. And when satisfied, please make a motion to pass same.
Make a motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion.
Yeah. What's the date of that?
Oh, it's October, was that October 10th? October, it's the first October, first Saturday in October. Come on, Carl, you would
Is that the
go around.
second? This is the second.
Carl, you were getting us out there.
Yeah. What?
the date for the fireman's parade is not October 9th?
Oh, wait, I have it.
Oh, for the parade?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the first Saturday in
October 6th, from 12:45 to
First Saturday in
2:45.
October.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking for.
Yeah, October 6th.
Okay.
That's correct.
And there is a lunch for all the freeholders at the firehouse, at the Ogdensburg Firehouse. So feel free to just go there. There's parking there, and they'll shuttle you around to wherever you're going to go and feed you.
Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion is carried. Freeholders, please review the awards of contracts, change orders, and bids, and when satisfied, please make a motion to pass same.
Make a motion.
Motion by Graham, second by Patillo. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardman.
Yes.
Freeholders, please review the financial resolution regarding payment of bills list anyway. When satisfied, please make a motion to pass same.
Motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Patillo. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Abstain.
Freeholder Yardman.
Yes.
Freeholders, please review a resolution regarding payment of bill list.
Pay the rest of the bill.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Patillo. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardman.
Yes.
Personnel, freeholders, please review the resolution regarding authorizing personnel agenda of August 8, 2018. When satisfied, please make a motion to pass same.
Motion on that agenda.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Patillo. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, roll call, this is a money thing, I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardman.
Yes.
Administrative report?
I'll be brief. The budget request forms for the 2019 county budget have been distributed to the county departments and are due at month's end. Grant monies from the Department of Transportation in the amount of $1.7 million have been received for the reconstruction and realignment of Bridge X09 in Wantage, the rehabilitation of Bridge X11 in Wantage, and the replacement of Bridge Q6 in Sparta. The library system is in the process of completing its strategic planning, and I look forward to sharing that information with the board-chosen freeholders and the public. Needless to say, we received an extremely strong response to the survey that was distributed, and there was very good attendance at the majority of the focus groups that were held throughout the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pfaff. County Council?
Yes, again, very briefly, unless somebody cares, in lieu of the closed session report I was going to make about the reorganization of the office, the two appointments we made tonight brings the total number of appointments to the Office of the County Council to 4. That was Gary Kramer. We extended the agreement with Riker Danzig. Tonight we appointed the firm of Skate Price and the firm of Hollander Hinks. We anticipate one more, and that would be an individual with the Department of Human Services. And our reorganization plan, at least in terms of appointments, will be finished. This newly created law firm will meet, somewhat of a law firm, part-time law firm. We'll meet in the next week or two with Greg and I and County Tracy, and we will give out assignments and all the other organizational things. Everybody will get their areas assigned to them, and at the next meeting I'm sure it will already be running very smoothly.
Do I take it to hear that you do not need an executive session?
That was it.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk, when you want to talk more, there's nothing more to say.
We're looking forward in the agenda, thanks to a happy little typo. Our executive session occurs after the meeting adjourns, so we don't have to change anything in the executive session. Anything further from county council?
No, sir.
Any unfinished business? Any new business? Public session from the floor. Please note everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less, followed by a 3-minute response time from the Freeholder Board. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign sheet. Freeholders, can I have a motion to open public section?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public.
Harvey Rosette, Byron. Just a quick question prompted by Mrs. Koff's discussion on the library strategic plan. What happened to the strategic plan that I think had some sort of merger on the county college campus, which we bonded for, which is part of some of the funds here that are being discussed for different uses in the future?
Is that your only question?
That's my only
Okay.
question.
Is it, are you talking, library plan you're talking about?
There was like a consolidation. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was
with
funds
respect
for
to
the
the
library.
library.
Can I ask can I ask Harvey a question? Are you talking about the discussion where there was going to be a building built and there's going to be education in there and some computers and a library?
I actually don't know exactly. It was a library matter to that bonding. I don't remember. I can't tell you how it was defined, but some of these funds from one of these
I believe
bonds.
I believe what you're referring to was the Lifelong Learning Center. It was contemplated that there would be a joint effort between the community college and the county and the library system. That is part of what the discussion is in regards to the library strategic planning process. The strategic planning process itself is designed to position the library to be able to take advantage of the upcoming Library Construction Bond Act that was authorized by the voters in the state of New Jersey last November. So the partnership with the college is not necessarily dead, but will be better informed by having solicited input across the county, including municipal governments, as well as to where those funds could be best spent.
If I can follow up here, I know you asked me if there was one question.
Sure.
But if the new strategic plan with the library, if it does need more capital funds, wouldn't it be best to just keep this last one to the side, waiting for the final, decisions that you might make on a coming strategic plan?
I'm not sure if I understand what you're
You allocated a chunk of money that included a substantial involvement of the library.
No, we
Cooperative agreement?
No,
with the
no,
library?
no,
What was it?
Can I just jump in for a second? I think you're searching, so we're kind of searching what you're searching for here. I think we had put some money aside, or to allocate some money for an architect. Was it an architect? It was an architecture firm who talked about us putting a library on the college campus. That it was a joint project. That project's not dead. We did not bond for anything going forward. What these plans or these discussions and these surveys about is to find out how the county library system can better utilize the state bonding to enhance our library system. That may be part of that. We don't know yet. That's what this was all about.
So I still would say,
we didn't bond money for that purpose.
if the other project might still be alive, and if there is a future library involvement with the county college, why would you spend the past allocated funds on something different? I mean, one of these three,
Perhaps the best thing here is to, if you can over the three, the original bonding documents for these three bonds.
yeah, I did. One of them is, in
Mr.
all honesty,
Mr.
I know
Rosa
it's
was
titled-
provided all three original bonds
Okay.
and the ordinances for the CD.
Okay.
Yeah, which does indicate there was monies allocated for the library consortium, or whatever you want to call it. There was funds that now are going to be reallocated to something different. So why would you reallocate it? Just keep it on the books, and in another year or 6 months, you can put it to what you originally approved the funds for, the library, or the library partnership.
I don't think we have control over those funds.
Well,
I don't know if we do or not, I don't believe we do.
we're a minute past our 3 minute
Okay,
limit,
well,
this could go back
Then
and
we
forth
can,
for a
yeah,
long
all
time.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
I'm gonna make a rare appearance here. It's Dale County, Green Township. Came in on the end of this, hoping there was gonna be more fireworks and stuff. And,
Sorry, just.
it's sort of like when the outfit people were here, you know, the crowd to come in, they do the Kabuki theater, and then they leave. But some of the things, because I tried listening carefully, overwhelmingly the speakers were all for this great project and how wonderful it is and how it's going to revitalize. The one man compared it to Hoboken. Newton is not Hoboken. I don't know what drug he's on, but it's not Hoboken because New York City is not right across the river.
The waterfront's moving this way.
Yeah, well, that, global warming, I got it. But I do have a concern because I was talking with John and I was listening to what Harvey said. You know, and I'm looking at this thing, McGuire campus. You know, people pay a lot of money for naming rights. Is McGuire putting like $4 or $5 million into this so they can name it the McGuire campus? Because wouldn't it be Sussex County Community College campus and not McGuire? So if McGuire's name is on this proposal, I would propose that they come up with $1 million for the naming. That's number one. I don't understand that. And they talk about environmental issues that may or may not be there. We don't know how much antifreeze went into the ground when they were working there. And it says that the money is already earmarked and bonds have been sold. My wife handles our finances for a good reason because $500, $50, I'll have the same party, different hors d'oeuvres, okay? But to spend money that you don't have, it seems kind of ludicrous to me. And I'm not a traffic engineer, and I know when they changed Spring Street to go one way, it stopped anybody from going down the street unless you make this fantastic journey around the neighborhood to come back up the street, limited spots. I was there today. I was stunned by how many stores that were there a year ago, 6 months ago, gone.
22.
Oh, it's empty, it's all empty. And then the one store, I won't mention the names, but I could get better secondhand furniture at the Salvation Army, if you know which one to shop at. There's nothing high-end about it. The one place that they were going to for meetings afterwards is gone. The pub, whatever it was, they closed down. So they can't seem to keep the type of clientele, the type of patronage that a Hoboken does bring. You know, my daughter owns property in Hoboken. They make a ton of money renting their condo because they live up in Chat. So that's a young people thing. I don't see that coming here. You know, and they put this thing. They're talking about putting an apartment building over there. And you think that HUD and them aren't going to come knocking and saying, we want the low-income housing as well. We're going to move these people in as well. And I'm not trying to throw people under the bus for not having money, but to sit here and say it's going to be a high-end luxury apartment, I don't know about that. And it just seems to me that, you know, John spoke about, and he talked about, it's kind of a shell game, like, well, we got the bonds for this, was the shell, was the pig on the thing. And I'm not accusing anybody here of doing that, but it sounds like that, you know, so I don't know where the smoke is fire. I don't know where the money's going to come from. I do know that I listened to somebody say his son, even as a surgeon, wouldn't come back to this county because there's nothing here for them. The young people want the city life. They want the fast pace and that. That's not Sussex County. They could put a lot of nice restaurants in that, but I don't know what to tell you because when they throw in a Wally World up the block. This is how they destroy entire communities, and corporate America has no problem doing that. When I went to Scio, New York, to visit the parents of Jason Dunham, who died in Iraq, Medal of Honor recipient, it was a beautiful town, and I walked through it and I said, this place is gorgeous. It was like from the 1950s. It was beautiful. Wellsville. Well, what they did to Wellsville is what they've done to a lot around the country. They threw a super center here and a super center there. It killed everything in between. Mom and pop cannot compete. It wipes them right out. So, I mean, before you go spending money and, you know, somebody will come back and say, well, I wasn't on the board when they did that. You know, they could do that infinitum. I just think that everybody here is waving a flag for something for their own self-aggrandizement, you know. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I hope it holds a good day. But I'm just saying, everybody's pushing this, and then the numbers showing that the college is losing money, that they're losing enrollment. It's like, well, you just keep throwing good money after bad. I almost feel like I'm living in, you know, a Democratic-run city or something, you know. Throw money at it, it's gonna fix it. It's not gonna fix it. And one quick thing is a note. I come in with either 94 or 206, and you hit that circle. It's not a circle, it's a square. Where are they gonna handle the volume? Where are you gonna handle the volume of an apartment house, stores, and college campus? Where they're gonna have an in and out next to the post office? You're gonna have to build a bypass to get in and out of there if you bring that kind of traffic in, unless you're gonna bring them in one way, out the other way. I don't know. I'm not an engineer at that, but these things all have to be considered.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Fix the light. That's all I'm gonna say.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one from the public, I have a motion to close the public session of the meeting. Motion by Lozano, second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is closed to the public. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Everybody,
Motion by Patillo.
in unison.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned.